Salut, salut! Sunt Artem și aceasta este videoblogul PerspectivaGay. Pe 27 august, Moldova va sărbători cea de-a 25-a aniversare de la proclamarea independenței. Și de asta am decis să înregistrez câteva interviuri cu oamenii care au trăit aici înaintea perioadei de independență, în timpul perioadei de independență și a cei care au venit în Moldova pentru câțiva ani, pentru diferite scopuri și misiuni. Și astăzi vreau să vă prezint primul invitat din această serie de interviuri. Îi spune Christian Rabl și este un german care a venit în Moldova cu scopul de a preda limba germană în Universitatea de Stat. Поехали! Hey Christian.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
You're about to leave Moldova.
Yes, it's actually tomorrow's my last day in Moldova, then I'm going back to Germany for a couple of days.
And how many years have you spent here?
I spent here 2 years.
Yeah, I remember we actually met sometime right after you arrived in Moldova.
We actually met in, I think it was in September or
Yeah.
early October 2014 when I went to PerspectivaGay because I saw on the internet that you were having a gay quiz. And then it turned
I
out...
remember it. Yes, that's exactly it. So we met.
There were, I think, 5 or 6 people.
Yeah.
In the beginning I was surprised there were more people because I thought a quiz would attract more people actually. But I was even more surprised when it turned out that all of the other guests were actually not really gay.
Yes.
They were mostly your friends.
Yes, you were the only one.
I was not the only one except
and
you.
you were the
Yeah.
foreigner.
Exactly.
And how has it changed for you? I don't know, since you came here. How has it been? What's your overall impression about Moldova?
My overall impression of Moldova is a very good one, actually. I mean, there have been ups and downs, but the ups have been far more important than the downs. I like living here for 2 years. I even could imagine living here a 3rd year, maybe in a 4th year. So it's been over a very good time here.
And what exactly did you do here?
I came here as a German teacher. So I taught German at Moldova State University, teaching students who want to learn German to become translators or work in any way with German language skills. Yeah, I also did educational projects with them, cultural projects. That's why I came here.
Was it fun to teach at the Moldovan University, or was it more of a challenge?
It was both. Mostly it was fun. I like a lot teaching. I liked a lot working with the students. Sometimes the conditions of the courses are challenging, but I enjoyed it in general, and I enjoyed also the freedom of doing projects with the students. I think they enjoyed as well, and yeah, I met interesting students. They are generally, I think, much friendlier than German students, maybe more disciplined or well educated. They hardly ever complained about anything. Their way of not liking something is maybe more supple, like not showing up for courses. But generally I had a good time here.
And did you tell them that you were gay? Did you come out to them?
I did not come out to them for several reasons. First of all, I think the most simple explanation is no one asked me. Neither the students nor my colleagues, and I mean, they were looking up to me as a teacher. Even the students I worked with and who I knew a bit better because they had taken part in projects, also international projects, they were, you know, in German you have the difference between du and sie, which is like the formal way of addressing someone and the informal way, and they were still calling me Domnule Christian or Domnule Professor, so most of them wanted to have that kind of distance between authority figure and student. That is okay for me. Yeah.
But have you ever heard questions. A very Moldovan question. Are you married?
I heard that question many times, but interestingly, never at university.
Never at university?
No.
Not even from your colleagues? Because you are not like a 20-year-old
Yes.
young guy who comes
Yeah,
to Moldova.
I'm 35.
So exactly,
Yeah.
you know, usually in Moldova it happens like this. The older you get, the more pressing the question is.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to know if you're married, and if you're not, what's wrong with you.
Yeah. I know the question because just last week I did a bike trip through Moldova, and there were like the four usual questions were: are you from? Are you married? What do you do for a living? And how do you like Moldova? So I heard the question a lot, but interestingly, not that often at university, and I cannot even remember my colleagues asked me if I'm married. Probably they asked in the beginning, and then I said no, and that was it. So there were no further questions about it, which is also, I think, that's kind of nice because people can investigate more, and then I would have told them because I like my colleagues very much, but we have different lives and different lifestyles.
Would it be much easier just to be open and without having any second thought about what if they find out about or not? Like, would it be just much easier just to be open from the beginning if you knew that they would be accepting it? You need to be...
Maybe it would have been, but I never felt at unease at university because you see the relationship with the students and also with the colleagues is very much based on teaching. So many of my colleagues have second and third jobs, and they cannot spend a lot of time at university or in between classes. So mostly when we met, it was in these 15 minutes between classes, and there is not so much time to talk about private things. So also I like my colleagues, but I do not know a lot about their private lives. So we did not come to that point.
Okay. So if you had a chance right now to send a message to your former students and colleagues at the Moldova State University, now that, let's imagine they are watching us, what would you tell them as a German gay who lived in Moldova and who had a great time as teaching German, but now who can be open?
Well, I mean, I had the impression that even before I could be open, but let's imagine you are now my audience. I would say thank you for the great time I had here for 2 years. I like teaching here, and I'm pretty confident that you knowing that I'm gay does not change a lot, because you know me as a person, some of you more, some of you maybe less. From what you wrote in essays, for example, I had the impression that for most of you being gay or lesbian or transgender is not that much of an issue. But I would wish that more of those who are actually not against gay and lesbian and transgender people maybe think about showing that this is okay for you. For example, when the Gay Pride took part, I took part in 2015. This year, unfortunately, could not take part in it. There are 100, 200 people. Most of these people I know because they belong to the civil society in a way. But I know that many of the students are not really against it, are okay with people being gay, and I would invite you to show that, because experiencing aggression and violence is a good thing, and I'm sure you do not want that.
It's a very good message, and it's good to hear that the students had put it in their essays, like that you could scan through their thoughts at least, but who knows whether they were true or not, because it was an essay, it wasn't task.
Well, I mean,
the essay to get a grade from a German
topic.
teacher, you know, like, the one who comes from Germany. But you are originally from Bavaria.
Yeah.
You lived in Munich,
Yeah.
but originally you come from a small town
Yes.
in Germany. How was it for you?
Well, I grew up in the 80s and 90s in that village. It's not a super small village, but pretty small, 2,000 people living there. And back in the 90s, the situation was still different. I mean, gay and lesbian people were not so much in the media yet. Most of the people did not know about people in their, among their family or friends who were gay. Less people came out. And I mean, for me, I did not like living on the countryside because the options were really small. You could either join the football club, which I didn't like because I was completely inept for that.
Because you were a dancer.
No, not even dancer. Like, I am completely not sporty. Or you could go to church activities, like to choir or whatever. And that was pretty much it. So there was nothing in for me because cultural life was really very condensed, and I was really very much looking forward to finally have graduated from high school and then leave to a bigger city where I could express more openly and also know other people around me. Not only people who are also gay, but people who have more broader variety of interests, let's say.
So you left your village to come out of the closet in a bigger place in Germany, like what, Munich? And then...
Well, I came out to my parents when I still lived at my parents' place.
How old were you?
I was 18 at that time. It was shortly before the graduation, baccalaureate. I came out to my best friends even before. I think I was 17 at that time, or 16. Rather 17, I guess. And then I moved to the next biggest city, and then a year later to Munich. And then things
And then
changed.
you had a wonderful life in Munich, and then decided to come to Chisinau. And how was it coming to Chisinau, knowing that it is a homophobic society? Like, probably you thought that you would have to go back in the closet, at least if not entirely, but somehow, because the environment is not very friendly here.
Well, actually, I was kind of naive before coming here in the sense that I did not know a lot about Moldova or Chisinau. I had been to Bulgaria a year before coming here, and I mean, I knew that the situation for gay, lesbian, transgender people in Bulgaria is also not really good, but I felt it was kind of okay. I never had problems there, so I expected Moldova to be kind of similar, and I thought, come on, there has to be a gay community everywhere in this world.
Obviously.
And it's a kind of European country, so
Kind of.
there shouldn't be a problem with that. So I didn't do a lot of thinking before coming here, honestly.
And then it just struck you. No? Did it?
It struck me to see that Moldova is in many ways a really small country.
It's a big village.
And there are a few people here, so that's why also the
And everybody
LGBT
knows
community
everybody.
is pretty small in Moldova.
Well, it's because everyone is in the closet. Everyone is hating. That's why you can see them.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what struck me, that there is actually not, let's say, LGBT community, or that there are no clubs or regular bars. That's what I kind of had expected before coming here, and it does not really exist.
It doesn't exist, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
and
because...
that was kind of surprising me, actually.
So you took part in the Pride March last year. This year you couldn't take part in it because you were away. But what do you think Moldova as a country needs to do to open itself to diversity? Does it only relate to the mentality, to the outdated and conservative mentality? Do you see any prospects of change, especially working with students and teaching them? Like, do you see any hope in the coming generation? Because we're talking about 25th anniversary of Moldova, 25 years of independence, it's 25 years is an age of a completely new generation.
Yeah.
Who was born after the Soviet Union collapse. Is there any change between the younger generation and the older generation's mentalities?
This is actually a very tough question. I'm not so sure about the political level. When it comes to politics, I'm not very optimistic, frankly speaking. But in the 2 years I've spent here, I think I saw some changes, mostly on the societal level. There is a group of people who are very active in matters of urbanism. There is kind of alternative culture, and I'm very positive that this is getting broader, and that there's also acceptance for different lifestyles, for also the LGBT community might become bigger, even though I think that is a long way to go. I also think that Moldova, like other countries as well, is kind of a polarized society. I don't know where this is going. And I think another problem, which is very special for Moldova, is the migration. Because I've seen it in these 3 years that many people, especially the very skilled and educated ones, who try to build up something here, leave the country, and then after 2 or maybe 3 years, when you're active in the field of, let's say, culture or diversity, you have the impression you have to start from new because so many people left. I think this is really a major problem, and I hope that there will be a trend for that, like more people come back to this country and want to change something in any respect.
Yeah, if the political situation changes to the better, but unfortunately, like, it's very hard to predict or say anything, as we're all observing now. You've traveled also a lot in Moldova. You've seen a lot of places and villages. What's your most precious impression of Moldova ever?
I think it is really Chisinau. I mean, I've been living here for 2 years. I know this city. I think I know this city pretty well, at least the central part of Chisinau. I've been to, unfortunately I've never been to the south really, just passing by car. I've been in the north of this country. I did not live on the countryside. I mean, I spent some days there. Very nice places. Many villages along the Dnistru, which I like very much. But still, my favorite place is Chisinau, I think, because you just can walk here. It's such a green city, and yeah, I think it has life quality.
What about the sidewalks?
The sidewalks are, let's say, improvable. Me being a bike driver, wish there was better infrastructure for that. I mean, there are a lot of things that could be better here, but I mean, you can build on something. Very nice houses here. It's a quiet city, relatively quiet city. It's a green city. People are friendly, so.
And the last question, but you need to explain why.
Yes.
What do you choose, a mermaid or a unicorn?
Okay, the first impulse was neither of them.
You need to explain why.
I would say then rather a mermaid. I don't know. I never really liked unicorns.
Just wanted to make a
I
bad
never
joke.
saw one.
You never saw one, and I doubt somebody saw it.
Mermaid brings to my mind the story by Hans Christian Andersen about
which is a very sad story.
Which is a very sad story, but I like
life
the
full
story.
of suffering because of love.
Yeah, unfulfilled love also. So I would rather go with
Did it
mermaid.
happen to you?
Unfulfilled love?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. I think that happened to everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
How did you manage to overcome it?
Just let time pass and think of the good sides.
Time heals,
Talk to
as they
friends,
say.
and yeah, I
And
think there
have
is no
fun.
master
Yeah.
recipe for that. Yeah.
Are you a better person now after 2 years in Moldova than you had been before coming here?
No, I'm not a better person.
No?
I'm.
Moldova didn't help
I
you?
would say I'm a more experienced person, but not for the better or for the worse. Like, I mean, I think I have a better understanding how it feels living abroad. I also think I have a better understanding how it feels being a foreigner or a migrant in another country. But I'm not sure if this makes me a better person. I don't think so. I just have a broad horizon, and I think this is generally something good.
Yeah, it's definitely good. That's why I also recommend you to travel as much as possible, because it's a very, very
Yeah, I
unique
support that.
experience, and
Yeah.
never miss such opportunity if one is on your way. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Christian.
Thanks for
Vielen
inviting me
Dank.
over. Welcome. Bitteschön.
Thanks for coming to all the queer parties. It meant a lot, because I always need support, and when I see familiar faces, it's much easier to handle all the stuff in Moldova, especially related to organizing events for LGBT community when nobody shows up, like the quiz in 2014. Yeah, yeah.
I just want to say not only thank you for inviting me over, but thank you for the great job you're doing here. Not only you, but the whole team of Gender Dog. I think it's something very courageous and very precious you're doing, because it requires a lot of strength, mental strength, to organize these events and endure everything that you have to endure. I do not know even 10% of what you have to face and cope with, but I think it's not easy, and all the more taking into consideration that you could leave the country, but you decide to stay here and try to make a change here, is something very, very precious and acknowledgeable. So thanks a lot for that.
Thank you, everybody, and have a good.
Yeah.
Thank you.